Alright, I've been getting a lot of comments and messages asking me how much certain parts of my 4runner cost. So I decided I'm just going to go ahead and make a quick video and break down every penny spent on every modification to this thing. So every price that I list in the video is going to be in Canadian dollars, and then I'll go ahead and convert it on the screen for you, for all you fellow Americans. So I started off with a 2007 Toyota 4runner. It's a limited V8 model, and I bought it with about 200,000 kilometers on it. And it also had a whole bunch of dealer service records on it as well. So it was a fairly clean example to start with. And I ended up paying $14,000 for the 4runner itself, which, depending on where you are, is a pretty good deal. For here, it was a really good deal. So I guess we'll just dive straight into the modifications. No particular order. We'll start off with the Fox 2.0 coilovers. This is Fox's kind of entry-level suspension setup, which is really, really great for the money. But these really are, for a low-end setup, the quality is fantastic on them, and I think it's probably one of my favorite things that I've done to this. So these coilovers were $1,127, and then I did the matching Fox 2.0 rear shocks back here, and those were $341 for the pair. Now while we're back here, this originally had the factory air suspension in the rear, and in order to put the 2-inch lift springs on the back, I had to convert it to coils, and so I got a set of OME 895 rear springs, which were $220. And in order to use those, I bought the coil conversion kit from MetalTech, which was $76. And there's two different options for that kit, and I bought the cheaper one that only had it's basically just lower spring perches that that bolt onto the axle itself that the spring can sit in. And then I separately purchased a set of the Toyota spring isolators, which are just the little rubber bump stop things that sit in the top of them. Those were $220. And you can buy the complete kit from MetalTech, but being up here in Canada, it was easier to buy the Toyota part and have it shipped through Amazon than it was to deal with third-party shipping from the States. But if you're an American, I would probably recommend just getting the complete kit from MetalTech. It's just easier and a little bit simpler. But it's all the same thing. I think MetalTech uses the original Toyota isolators, or at least OEM quality. So either direction you go there, you're good. Alright, next up we've got the Method standard wheels, which are 17 by 8.5. These were $1,027. And again, pretty good bargain for a good quality aftermarket wheel. I'm used to the import car world where you're spending the money on Volk wheels or something like that. They're really expensive, but for these, yeah, they're not forged, they're not real beadlocks, but they look great, they're strong, and I'm really happy with them. So while we're talking about the wheels, we may as well talk about the tires. These are Goodyear Duratracs. These are the same ones that I had on my Grand Cherokee that I love so much, so I just got the same ones but in a much bigger size for the 4runner. These are 285/70 17s, which works out to be about a 33-inch tire. So these tires were $1,447, and I think they were worth every penny. I'm a big fan of the Duratrac. They ride fairly quiet on the street, they're smooth. They're great off-road if you're not doing any kind of hardcore mudding or rock climbing. It's just a great all-around tire. Winter snow and ice rated as well, so it's basically a winter tire. I keep these on year-round here in Canada. And one thing a lot of people don't think of when they're about to purchase these Method wheels, or a lot of aftermarket wheels really, you're going to need different lug nuts. You have to get the lug nuts that will match the wheels. Your stock lug nuts more than likely will not work. And so I spent an extra $97 on these from Wheelers Off-Road. So I get a lot of questions about this front bug deflector. This is actually a OEM Toyota unit. Apparently they're hard to find. Might even be Canadian market only, I'm not sure. Luckily I didn't have to buy it. It already came on the truck when I bought it. So somebody found it and paid for it. And I'm not normally that big on bug deflectors. I had one on my last vehicle. I never really liked the way they looked on the 4runner, but for some reason this one on this color, I'm okay with it. But I did add the AVS window visors. These things are kind of like a remote starter in that once you've had them, it's hard to go back to a vehicle that doesn't have them. It's nice to be able to crack the windows just a bit when it's raining out and get some fresh air in there without getting soaked. And these are definitely worth it. These were $72. Alright, next up let's get to the lighting on this. This is just a 32-inch curved Philips LED light bar that I got from eBay. Most of these Chinese ones, I mean, if it's not one of the American-made bars, they're pretty much all the same. All the Chinese ones are relatively the same. This one was $140. And then up top I've got a 40-inch single row. And that one was $163. And I just built my own brackets and everything for them. I could have bought pre-made ones, but I didn't think it was anything that complicated. I'm not exactly a metal fabricator myself, but it's a fairly easy task. Now for the light bars, I wanted to go with a somewhat OEM looking switch setup. And so I bought these kind of OEM style switches from, I think they were from Mick Tuning. And they were $25. And yeah, I'm happy with those. They look clean. Another thing that I think once you've had, it's hard to go back to a vehicle without it, is window tint. And these 4runners come with the privacy glass on the rear half, but these front windows are untinted. So I went ahead and got Nico Signs and Graphics in Waterloo to try his best to match the rest of the tint. And he did a good job. It's just like OEM. I believe he charged me $50 a window, so $100 worth of window tint. Last but definitely not least, let's pop the hood and I'll show you the Doug Thorley headers. These have been on here for, excuse the dirty engine bay, I need to give this a quick little touch up one of these days. These have been on for I think almost 2 years now, and they're getting a little bit crunchy looking, and Doug Thorley themselves even said in the documentation that came with them that they will get kind of brown and crusty looking. That's just inevitable, especially in these more winter climates, but function wise they've been perfect. These things have been flawless. I'm running an otherwise stock exhaust system and it's just as quiet as stock, super smooth. I think I got about an extra 1, maybe 2 miles per gallon increase with these, which kind of made up for the losses that I got with the lift and the tires. Those were, let me just check here, those were $1,058 for those. So the grand total for all of the parts combined on this 4runner, all in, was $6,122.83 Canadian. Which might seem like a lot, but I think this truck is a pretty big increase over the stock version, and it's really not heavily modified at all. It might look kind of aggressive and customized, but it, as you've seen, I think it's only, I think total there's maybe 13 or 14 modifications done to this thing completely. But that $6,100, that's every single penny that I've spent in parts on this. Now if you combine that with the cost of the 4runner itself, it adds up to $20,122.83. Which again, for an 11-year-old vehicle, it seems like a lot of money. But we know that these V8 4runners are hard to find, and when you do find them, usually the owners want a lot of money for them. And I was curious because I thought, well, I've ended up with a Toyota 4runner with Fox suspension, and people might be thinking, well, why didn't you just buy the TRD Pro brand new from the factory? It comes with that. And don't get me wrong, the TRD Pro trucks, all of them, I love all of them, and I think Toyota did a really good job on them. But out of curiosity, I priced out a brand new TRD Pro 4runner up here in Canada, and they start at $56,000, which is, I mean, that's almost 3 times what I've paid for this thing. So, and it also, there's a few things that you don't get with the TRD Pro that I have on here. Like, obviously the biggest one is the V8 engine, which is incredible for towing. The tow rating on this is a lot more than one of the newer 5th gen 4runners. And even just for every day around town, it's just so nice having the V8. I mean, there's a lot of people that prefer the V6s in these, and that's fine. But for me, I'm a big fan of the 4.7. I've also got fairly aggressive 33-inch tires on this with nice aftermarket looking wheels, which you don't get with the TRD Pro. They come with a pretty mild wheel and tire setup on them. Now, something that I don't have that the TRD Pro has is a electric locking rear diff, which if you're doing some hardcore wheeling, that is definitely a big bonus. That's one thing I'm missing out on this. I don't find that I miss it. I've never been in a situation that I think, oh, I wish I had a locker, because I really don't wheel this thing that hard. It does go off-road from time to time, but I'm not running the Rubicon or anything. And the other thing it doesn't have is the crawl control, which I'm not upset about that. I think the crawl control thing is it's more marketing than a real-world helpful tool. So one thing that I didn't include in the cost of setting this 4runner up like this is the price of labor. Because I don't know if you're more of a do-it-yourselfer and you're planning on installing everything yourself, then it's going to be free. Or if you're going to go to like a premium shop, they're going to charge you like crazy. So it's hard to estimate what that would cost. Either way, I'm super happy with it. And if you guys want to build your own version of it, if you can get your hands on a V8 4th gen, I highly recommend buying it if it's in good shape. Feel free to copy my exact setup right down to the nut and bolts if you want. I won't be offended. So I guess that'll wrap up this whole video, and let me know if there's anything else that I forgot that you guys want to know about. I think I've got everything included here. So anyways, that's about it. Thanks for watching, everybody. See ya.